Biodiversity is critical for the well-being of our planet and all of its inhabitants. Our oceans are teeming with life, and our forests give refuge to many of the world's most unique species. These ecosystems form part of a closed water cycle, linking mountaintops to the seafloor. Ocean and forest ecosystems clean the air we breathe, provide food and medicine, and shield us from natural disasters. They are important sinks of carbon and help mitigate the impacts of climate change. However, our ocean and forest ecosystems are under threat from human activity and are being lost at an alarming rate. The European Union is supporting the Colibri project implemented by ACTED, Blue Resources Trust, Environment Foundation Limited, and the Green Movement of Sri Lanka. In line with the EU's biodiversity strategy and the European Green Deal, as well as ACTED's 000 vision of a world of zero exclusion, zero carbon, and zero poverty, Colibri aims to protect and restore Sri Lanka's rich biodiversity by promoting a more harmonious balance between human activity and the environment at sea and on land. Colibri strengthens Sri Lanka's environmental protection efforts by encouraging community-led monitoring to minimize illegal and harmful activities while creating economic incentives for more sustainable fisheries and agricultural practices in 3 protected areas. To safeguard our oceans, Colibri is working in the Bar Reef Marine Sanctuary, located off Kalpitiya in the northwest, and in Kayankarani Marine Sanctuary near Pasikuda on the east coast, both of which are home to coral and sandstone reefs and seagrass habitats. To protect our forests, Colibri is working in the Knuckles Conservation Forest home to over a third of Sri Lanka's endemic trees, shrubs, and herbs. The project encourages government agencies and local communities to collaboratively manage resources and make science-based decisions. This inclusive approach will help protect biodiversity in our ocean and forest ecosystems and improve the well-being of all the people who depend on them.
In 2019, Kiehl's pledged to reduce 50% of its single-use polythene usage in stores by 2025. So far, on a monthly basis, we inspired 38,000 shoppers to switch to reusable bags and around 108 shoppers to bring their own containers for shopping. We replaced 132,000 plastic straws with paper straws while continuing to look for a sustainable solution for juice cups. Our top crust bread bags were replaced with compostable bags, reducing over 20,000 single-use polythene bags a day. Our fish, meat, fruit and vegetable counters also switched to compostable bags. That's not all. We continued to build awareness among our staff on the importance of reducing polythene usage and walk the journey towards reducing our impact on the environment, because together we can.
The ocean. Our island is surrounded by it. We live in the midst of it. Mesmerizing. enthralling, pleasing, our ocean is unique, a vibrant marine habitat. We have loyal whales who never leave our seas, turtles who always return to our shorelines, mangroves sequestering carbon, dugongs gliding beneath the waves, seagrass meadows pumping oxygen we breathe, underwater reefs sheltering marine life. But they're struggling. Coral reefs bleached, our seabeds scraped over by foreign fishing trawlers. We're depleting our marine life through overfishing. Plastic and chemical waste pollution gush into our oceans. Coastal sand is disappearing. Marine animals killed by dynamite. Turtles entangling in goose nets. Ships colliding with whales. Climate change. Global warming. Oil spills. Coastal construction. Ocean acidification. Ocean's life is draining. We need the ocean. Our survival depends on it. The sea around us is now a hotspot for geopolitics, trade, security, maritime ventures, and crime. Our impact on the ocean matters. Our ocean is our lungs, our hearts, our nerves. Without it, no one can survive. We can only thrive if our oceans survive. Let's strive to be the guardians of the ocean. Let us be the protectors, together, for our ocean.
Hi, my name is Minuka Hagarapitiyaarachchi. I'm a team member of the Pearl Protectors, and I would like to welcome you all to the World Ocean Day Summit, where today's session is on inspiration from Marine Conservation Organization under the theme of the way forward for our ocean. World Ocean Day Summit is hosted by the Pearl Protectors in partnership with Marine Environment Protection Authority, Blue Resource Trust, and World Ocean Day Organization. World Ocean Day Summit intends to delve into all aspects of the ocean around Sri Lanka, while highlighting key challenges, opportunities, and inspiring Sri Lankans to love and care for our marine environment. You can learn more about the summit on pearlprotectors.org. So, to talk about the top session, inspiration from Marine Conservation Organization, which is very important to understand how youth-led marine conservation organization can inspire and conserve marine environment and share their experiences. We have got some great guests today to talk about the topic, and I would like to introduce Sudarasha de Silva, who is the co-founder of Lanka. We have Shalanka Ranjula, who's the coordinator of Knowledge Hub of the Ocean University. We have Lahiru who's the co-founder for Center for Beach Cleanups, and Shehaan Thahir, who's the founder of ItsWellaBeach. I would like to welcome you all, and also I would like to request all our audience to send us any question you may have. We will try to answer the most relevant and interesting question at the end of the session. Simply add your question to the comment section on either Facebook or YouTube. So to start off, I would like to ask from Sudarshan. Lanka is one of the prominent youth-led environment organization in Sri Lanka. So what is the inspiration behind Lanka?
Thank you, Minuka, for inviting me, and it's really nice to address all of you during the Ocean Day. Uh, about the inspiration, I think we started the work in 2009. Our main focus was like introducing youth-led initiatives for sustainability. So, marine is also one of the aspects that we have been working on for the past 5 years. We have projects running on green architecture and also climate change and climate action. So, these kind of projects we have been running for like 10 years. I think the inspiration is basically if the young people are motivated for like they need to have some passion to start something. So there, what we do is like we actually have an interview and we see whether these youngsters really want to engage, and that's how we have led them to lead these activities through their engagement because they also need to feel that they are part of the solution. So I think the past 10 years, I mean, that's how we have been like working, and that's why our inspiration has been in the with the committee members of Lanka. So basically, as one of the co-founders, I think we also are satisfied with our all volunteers because they have been contributing in their casual basis, and they show their passion to continue these activities, especially the cleanups and coral restoration programs, and this educating the general public from school level. So these kind of programs have been led by the youngsters, and we normally have given the platform for them to do it. So I think the inspiration is if they are committed to do these kind of activities, we really like to help.
Okay. Thank you, Sudarshan. Thank you very much for the information. And now I'd like to talk a little bit about Shalanka. How important is that Ocean
Hello.
University has more student-led organization? I mean, can you briefly share your organization functionalities?
Yeah, sure, Minuka. And first of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to Pearl Protectors for inviting us, although we are an emerging little organization. So, first of all, I need to mention that we are a developing university in a developing country. However, as an island surrounded by the ocean itself, the potential for our field is, I'd say, extremely high. So we decided that rather than waiting till we are graduated to get started doing what we can as undergraduates, we were and still we are really passionate about what we are doing, and we already have the academic background and the knowledge to do what we are doing. On the other hand, we as members wanted to make sure that our university produces all-rounders with proper soft skills and with better confidence in their disciplines. So as a result of all of these, we ended up founding this club. So when we talk about the structure, basically we have a coordinator and some project managers and social media managers and editors and some content writers, so likewise. And I also need to add that we had a lot of support and encouragement from our seniors and from our lecture panel. We are truly lucky to work with such inspiring personalities. So, yes, as the Ocean University, we decided to start a knowledge hub, which is dedicated to marine sciences.
Okay. Thank you, Sudarshan. Thank you, Shalanka. So next, I would like to talk a little about coastal pollution. So taking actions to mitigate coastal pollution is very important. So Lahiru, what is your motivation towards taking continuous action in reducing coastal pollution?
Yeah, first of all, thank you, Minuka and Mudita and Pearl Protectors for inviting us. So basically, we were doing beach cleanups for few years, and later we realized that only by doing beach cleanups by ourselves, that's not going to help the situation, because we have a huge area to cover. So what we wanted is, actually we wanted to build a network where we have access to almost all the beaches around the island. And because we see so many voluntary organizations, they are conducting beach cleanups, but sometimes we have, even when we were university students, we had some difficulties in maybe funding, finding resources. So in terms of supporting the younger generation, maybe university students, school children, so we wanted to inspire them, to help them, motivate, and even to build a larger network of people who are enthusiastic about the beaches and the ocean, about doing beach cleanups. So that's why we founded the Center for Beach Cleanup, and so we run mainly as a Facebook group. And our concept is, we don't have any kind of a fixed team of members. And what we do is, so what we do is, because we cannot have beach cleanups all around the country by ourselves. So what we have been doing is, we were promoting beach cleanups around the country, and we have our sub teams as well. And so we have built a nice network around the country. And so even for the audience, if you are interested in doing future doing beach cleanup, so I request you to reach us, so we are willing to help you. And even though we are not participating, because if it's happening at a very far location, we might not be able to physically participate, but in terms of other support, so we can always help you. And so that was our motivation, because basically we wanted to build a network and to gather the energy of the youngsters, and to promote beach cleanups among themselves, and to make an awareness by conducting beach cleanups. Because doing beach cleanups, it's not a solution. It's not a solution. It's a maybe it can solve less than 1% of the issue, but we can create huge awareness. So that was what we wanted to do, and that was our motivation.
Yeah, thank you, Lahiru, for the information. So, as you said, the building a larger community is very important. So that's why we are also encouraging youth to take step forward. So when it comes to Vallavatta, Vallavatta has an urban surrounding, which we know a lot of pollution gushing to the ocean through the canals, and quite often the beaches also get polluted. So Shehaan, what really got you started, and how did you come up with this unique name? It's Beach.
Thanks a lot, Minuka. First of all, I'd like to thank Pearl Protectors for having me on the program. It's really great and encouraging, and I hope it encourages others also to kind of do similar things. With regards to ItsWellaBeach, the name itself, it was a community source name. And what inspired it actually was, I lived right by the side of Velavatu Beach, just walking distance. And from the time I've been a kid, I used to go there to work out and swim on Sunday mornings and things like that. But maybe 2, 3 years back, I noticed how polluted it was and how there weren't enough cleanups to continuously keep the beach clean. And there was a particular period in time where the beach was so dirty that there was no room for us to even run on it. And so at that point, I thought, okay, you know what? Why don't I add into my daily routine maybe 30 minutes of just cleaning up after that? And that was actually the initial idea. And then on top of that, I thought, okay, let me showcase this on social media, hopefully encouraging others to also do the same. So in the sense that go out and work out, which is actually beneficial for each and every one of us, and then also do maybe an half an hour act of just a good deed for you to start off your day with. And it was amazing. The response we got through social media was just mind blowing. And I started it off immediately, crowdsourcing ideas from people, asking people how we could, address certain issues. And from there, we started building on it. We first created the name ItsWellaBeach because what I thought was that, like Lahiru just said, we need to have a network of this all around the island. And my thinking was that, like ItsWellaBeach, we've already got a It's Mount Lavinia Beach after we started, and a It's Beach. So it's encouraging in that sense that we'll be able to create these small communities led by social media groups that are able to bring in other brands to help out with things like this. So hopefully we'll see it's Panadura Beach, it's all these beaches where we'll be able to get networks online, and that's kind of how the name came about. Since then, we've done a lot of activities to create awareness. Again, like Lahiru said, just the cleaning up is not ever enough. However, bringing people to the beach and showing them how bad the situation is always creates that awareness just within their groups and then also within social circles. So myself and my partner, our main area of work is content creation, and so because of that, we thought we'd try this out on Instagram, and it's been very encouraging to see the results that we've had so far. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Thank you, Shehaan. So moving on, I would like to discuss a little about Shalanka's initiative. So Shalanka, what are the strengths of your organization that can contribute to marine conservation in Sri Lanka throughout an academic background? Since you are like more expert in this case, so can you please explain a little?
Yeah, sure, Minuka. So actually, we know that ocean is one of the most diverse biomes. So due to its complexity of the knowledge and expertise you need to understand and comprehend, it is essentially high. And as students taking this field, that is the kind of responsibility we are supposed to bear. If you look at our curriculum, we cover a vast scope with modules including marine biology, marine ecology, fisheries, aquaculture, and economics, and likewise we have a great curriculum. So it is with such an academic background that we decided to share our knowledge with outside parties and most importantly with each other. And since now we consider the practical aspects of a matter when approaching sometimes something scientifically, things have become more effective for us. And also I have to say the support we had from our students was impressive, even though we have a small student base compared to most of the universities out there. The potential they have is immense. They are extremely talented. Actually, our students are extremely talented, extremely skilled in multitasking. So we could always maintain good output as a club. Pretty much all of our projects reached success level that were beyond our expectation. And I believe the reason behind that was because everyone was self-inspired, everyone had the same mindset, and also I should mention the support we received from our lecture panel. It is thanks to these factors that we could become a successful club in less than a year.
That's good. That's very great to hear, Shalanka. So as Lahiru mentioned, creating a large network and engagement with local communities in doing beach cleanup is something very important. So Lahiru, how effectively have you been engaging with local communities during these cleanups? Because we know for a fact sometimes you get the community support, but sometimes it is very less. So can you please explain this?
That's very important, because now, if you take our model now, so we have been conducting cleanups not only in close proximity to Colombo. So we were doing cleanups in Goal, Batiklo, Jaffna, so almost all the parts of the country. So when it comes to the practicality, so it's not practical for us to continuously keep on doing cleanups. Let's take Batiklo. So you cannot continuously conduct cleanups because we are in Colombo, and so it's not practical. So what we thought was we had two strategies. Because first one is we got few of a few of the members from each of these local areas. Let's say Goal, Batiklo, Jaffna. So we took two to three guys from these areas to become our members, and so we made them the organizers, kind of a part of organizing committee. So then what happened was, because then they were empowered and they had kind of a ownership about the project. So I'm happy to say that if we take an example now, we conducted first cleanup in Batiklo, so we had around 150 people, and later that through our inspiration and through our initiative, so then later they formulated the team, and it comprised of 58 people during the initial stage, and so they formed a WhatsApp group, and so they were conducting cleanups once in 2 weeks. So we were really happy to see that. So at the very end of the country, they are continuing something that we went and ignited. So that was one strategy, and the other strategy was because now let's say we are planning to conduct a cleanup in goal. So then, so what we have to think about the continuation, as I explained earlier. So the next strategy is if we have decided to do a cleanup in goal, so we search for the organizations that were conducting the cleanups usually in goal area. So then what we do is we reach them and we collaborate, because there's no point of competing with each others, because we all are working for a same goal, so we all have a same objective. So that's why even when we are talking with Mudita, so what we are telling is we should work more collaboratively. And so then if we are going and doing a cleanup in goal, we never do it alone by ourselves. So we always invite the local groups, local voluntary clubs, and other social service organizations, and we do it as a joint project. So then, what will happen is maybe we get to know each other. Sometimes we can help them through some resources. Sometimes we are getting support from them. So that was the whole idea, and I must admit that being voluntary organizations, there's a limitation in having the local engagement, because we cannot go to the extent of employing or deploying to people who are living there. But always we have been getting collaborating with the voluntary groups and social service groups. So that was our model, Minuka.
Okay. Thank you, Lahiru. I think Shehaan also running somewhat same strategy, because your campaign is based on attracting more like-minded people to take action. So Shehaan, what are the strategies that you have used to attract more of these like-minded individuals, like Lahiru mentioned earlier? So he's using different strategies. So what is your strategy?
Yes. So our primary strategy was to make it trendy. So one thing I noticed from the beginning was just talking about the problem as much as it will, touch nerves with a few people. It's not going to speak to the larger audience. And so as a result, we thought of doing things very differently and in a trendy way to kind of encourage other people to come and get involved for whatever reason. So one such thing was actually we painted the walls, and we got an entire community of artists to come by, and that's actually how we got a huge part of the message out, where we did this whole thing painting different walls with themes of saving our planet and different ideas there. And just like that, we looked at other really trendy ways of getting people on board. So because we work with a lot of social media influencers, one huge aspect that we touched on was that, where we encourage influencers to also come on board and get involved in these cleanups. We also did a number of like little talk shows with different industry leaders talking about um, how their industry could help us in cleaning our beaches. And then by that, our intention was to be able to speak to each of these industries through these small talk shows. Again, one of the biggest problems a lot of people doing voluntary work find is that getting sponsors on board is very difficult for such a thing when there is no media to offer them in collateral. And that's why we took the approach of creating a whole load of media around whatever it was that we did. And so as a result, that's why ItsWellaBeach is, I mean, even though we're just a very small Instagram page, it is well known amongst a lot of people in Colombo because of the amount of media we kept pumping out. And as a result, we were able to get like the World Health Organization to partner with us. We've got John Keels, Harpo's, Asian Paints who helped us with the walls, and just we are able to reach out to a number of brands because we've been creating this structure where it's always driving content out. So even for a brand, I mean, the primary motive is to create awareness, yes, but however, everyone needs to understand that brands are coming because they also want to be seen. And our approach was to always find a way to kind of do that cleanup process, but also create that content so that a brand could get some mileage, thereby enabling the money that we need to kind of do this stuff. It went off really well in the start, and unfortunately, with the pandemic coming about, things slowed down a bit. But it is very encouraging, and what I would like to also share with any of the viewers is that there is such a huge area for us to tap into here, because there are plenty of brands who would want to get involved with what they call good CSR projects that provide brand mileage, and things like ItsWellaBeach and all these initiatives that everyone else has done. It's just a matter of targeting it, retargeting it, and kind of showcasing it better to be able to speak to these brands. And with Itzwella Beach, I mean, more than actually cleaning just Wellavata Beach, the idea was to showcase to other people this model and how it can be adapted all around the country. And I mean, the fact that it started off in Mount Lavinia and Dehiwala was very encouraging. And if not for the pandemic, I think we would have really pushed on it more. However, right now we need to be a bit mindful of that. So we will look to build on it, but I would say that as our primary strategy, what we looked at was a huge media push, just constantly creating awareness rather than just only doing the work. We wanted to showcase a lot of the work so that brands, for one, would come behind us and help us reach a larger audience, as well as we'd be able to tap into other people who'd also want to get involved with such similar work, kind of speaking to an audience regarding this cause.
Yes. Thank you, Shehaan. And you point out something very important. Many of the projects done towards conservation requires the need of funding, as you and Lahiru mentioned. So, Sudarsha, how important and how challenging is it to fund project related to marine conservation? I know you have been working with this area. So, can you please explain how important is it when it comes to funding?
Yeah. Okay. So I think my personal experience, I think not only marine life. If we take like wildlife or conservation and research activities, I think it's a secondary need. That means this is my experience looking from 2009 onwards. So basically, like we know that for projects like on social development, I think there are plenty of organizations, even foreign and local, maybe private companies as well. They want to fund. But when it comes to environment research, not only in Sri Lanka but in globally, when it comes to like environment projects, the funding I think is very limited. Like even I think after 2011 only, I mean we saw that there is a trend to support the climate action and climate change projects, especially mitigation and adaptation. But before that, we have not seen that much of a scope happening for environment-led projects. So especially, I mean, you can imagine like when it comes to marine conservation, even that is very less, because if you don't have even for environment and research and conservation projects, if you don't have much of resources, I mean, the space for marine project is very less. So I think that's a challenge. But so far, it is, since we started this project since 2015 onwards, we have done a lot of partnerships. So that's how we have been running these projects. So basically, like through partnerships, like with the logistical support, physical stuff. So that's how we have been continuing these activities. But I think still not much of funding is allocated in any part of the world for marine, except I think when it comes to Pacific area. The Pacific area, there is a trend of funding more for marine conservation efforts because of their main source is fishery industry is one of the main source, and they are looking at the blue economy. But in other regions, still I think now we see that there are lots of research for research opportunities. I mean there's much of a scope of funding for marine research, but when it comes to like conservation projects, I think it's still limited. But I think after sustainable development goals came up, there was a trend of like some sort of an increase of funding coming from local and global efforts for these kind of projects because of SDG 14. So that's something that we can say the positive word, but it is a challenge. But I think the only way to like move forward is through multi-stakeholder partnership.
Okay. Thank you, Sudarshan. So, and now I'd like to move to beach cleanup side again. So, conducting beach cleanup is somewhat teamwork, as you mentioned earlier, Lahiru. It's about gathering community and like doing like in such a way. So, how effective has volunteer contribution been? What has been the reception in conducting long-term cleanups? As you mentioned, that beach cleanup is not a solution, but when it comes to long-term cleanup, what is your point of view here?
Yeah, yes. In terms of the the effectiveness and the okay, so I must say the response was super because volunteers because now let's take some of the cleanups we have done. I must say more than 15 organizations, sometimes more than 15 organizations joined us. And during, yeah, in one of the cleanups, actually Swarnavahini, they had seen one of our flyers and they spoke to us. And then actually, Rangana, he wanted us to do it in more frequently. Actually, then only we started doing beach cleanups once a week. So that was not that easy because with doing with Swarnavahini because they came on board as the media partner. So, so we were asked to plan a cleanup once a week, and we were asked to give a schedule for next 3 months. So once in 3 months, we had to continuously plan. So, so we had to take a decision and plan it. So surprisingly, there were so many volunteers, and I must say. Maybe the smallest cleanup we have done close to Colombo is around even the smallest one we had more than 150 people. Some of the cleanups we had 350, because the the International Coastal Cleanup Day on 17th September. So we conducted our cleanup at Nigambo Beach. So there we were able to gather more than 450 people without any government support or any backing from the government. So that was totally funded by ourselves with only through friends, and so that was really effective in terms of the cleanup as well as in terms of the turn up. So I must say, when it comes to long-term cleanups, it's not that easy for the same team to continue. So that's why I want to emphasize the fact. So when it comes to one beach now, as Shehan said, so they are taking care of Vallavatta beach. So that's the whole idea we should promote because there should be organizations that are taking care of their own area on beaches. So then, if we can support them, support these organizations, and so then it will be more effective because now if we take Shehan's organization and if we expect Shehan to participate throughout the year, so that's not going to be practical. So what we should do is maybe we can link few other teams to support Shehan, and that's how we can make it a more practical approach because and so that's how we can continue it and so that's what I see as towards continuously conducting the cleanups. And I must say the turn up that was really effective and we were getting so many yeah, I must mention about a few clubs and organizations as well because I will not mention their specific organization name, but so many lion clubs, rock clubs, leo clubs, interact clubs, so round table, 41ers, ladies circles, so all these clubs were part of our program. So we got huge backing from all these organizations, and so many schools as well. So school interact clubs. So we have a huge network who are working with us. So because what we promote is not organizing cleanups through center of beach cleanups. That's not our goal, because we want that platform to be used as a common platform, and for the beach lovers and beach cleanup lovers to gather there and to execute. So that's how I can elaborate on your question. I hope it's clear.
Uh, Thank you, Lahiru, for your information. And it's good to see that the many organizations teaming up for such events. And when it comes to underwater cleanups, it is important as much as beach cleanup. So, Sudarsha, we have seen you have conducted several reef cleanups very recently. And this is something the Pearl Project is also interested in engaging in through their volunteers, because now we have a diving team also. So, would you like to share some experience on how you conducted these reef cleanups?
Okay, let me tell what our volunteers used to say like the challenge. You must be asking about challenges, so I'll be telling some challenges. So I think one of the key issue is like we know it's a known fact that we get most of the waste or the garbage and coming from the inland water. So still it's the same. So we know that most of them were entering from the river mouths to these through the water. So I think when it comes, so that's a huge challenge when it comes, because even though we do a lot of cleanups, I mean, it's not easy because we are staying at least like more than maximum like 1 hour underwater and collecting in one area. So it's a very huge task of collecting all these garbage even in one area. And other than that, I think the more from the fishing community, we have seen these anchors and fishing nets getting stuck in the reef. So that is something critical that we need to address, because we have our volunteers have seen like dead fish, and even I remember once in Mirisa they found a dead turtle that was in 2015. So basically, like because of net, lot of like this lot of species dying underwater. So even when it's a challenge of removing them also from the reef, because we need to be very careful of without we should not damage the reef while collecting the net. So when we take these nets, it's also another challenge, because when we cut it, we have to be very careful of taking it from the reef, because it's some of the nets are very like tangled on the reef, so very hard to like cut them off after that. So I think these are some of the challenges that and experience that our volunteers have been telling. But if you take, I think if we can come up with some solutions where we see, like I realize, I have seen this vehicular canal, they have put some sort of a barrier. So if we, at least if we can make some barriers in inland waters, maybe that could help to reduce this pollution entering to the sea. So that is something that we need to concern more than the reef cleanup, because we can do reef cleanup if we get resources, because diving is a very expensive thing in Sri Lanka, so we had to find resources, and it's very hard to find resources. So the best thing is, I think, if we can find these like solutions to stop this waste coming from the inland waters, so that might be a good solution.
Okay, thank you, Sudarsha. And I think Shalanka can also add some point to the discussion, because the Ocean University students, I'm sure they are all dedicated towards ocean conservation, and I'm sure they are all are ocean enthusiasts. So, Shalanka, how do students practically engage into your organizations towards marine conservation?
Yes, Minuka. So our practical engagement is really high. As I mentioned earlier, we have an academic background in this field, so we get involved in lots of research and surveys. And in addition, we usually organize basic sessions such as beach cleanups to research-based, complicated activities. So generally, as a club, we wanted to have more and more physical sessions such as field visits, surveys, workshops, and so on. But the thing is, due to this COVID-19 situation, we were unable to conduct them. But instead of giving up, we decided to plan and conduct as many as virtual sessions we could. So name a few sessions that we conducted. As I, if I mention them, for the in parallel to the World Oceans Day in 2020, we organized an international photography competition, and also in parallel to the World Children's Day, we conducted art and essay competition. So likewise, we conducted many contests and virtual workshops. And in addition, we did a lot of awareness programs through our Facebook page. Actually, we tried to make sure that we do our best even during this COVID-19 pandemic situation. And I must mention that almost all of our students actively participated in those projects. So as a second phase, today we launched our society called Marine Environmental Conservation Society of Sri Lanka, with the main intention of extending the ability to get involved more volunteers from outside. And we are planning to do even more such projects with this new organization that we formed. Yeah.
Thank you, Shalanka. So, as Shehaan mentioned earlier, there are many coastal ocean heroes, including ItsWellaBeach, ItsWellaBeach, that were inspired through your campaign, basically, Shehaan. So, any suggestion you'd like to share with more these local heroes to start their own campaigns?
Yeah, definitely. Just the way that I came about it as well, it wasn't that I set out to kind of do this. It was more of an inward thing, and I would encourage everyone to kind of look at it in that way. My primary goal of doing all of this was just to build a routine habit every morning to work out and clean up. And then that led to all of this that came as a result. And what I would encourage is that that's what we kind of need to kind of position all of this around. I mean, rather than creating these big causes and saying, oh, we need help for these causes, we need to encourage people to head out and do something for themselves that is going to be beneficial for them. So in the sense that if you look at Vellavata Beach just before this third lockdown, what was really encouraging was the fact that after we started this thing of showcase, like it started with me, but then a lot of other people came, and everyone would work out in the morning and then they'd clean up after themselves. And when you do it like that, it's actually very easy to keep a beach clean. Vellavata Beach, I think, I haven't seen the other beaches, but at Vellavata Beach, on any day in the morning, you will see that there are at least 5 people, regular people who come for their morning walk, old gentlemen who's like 80 years old. He comes with his dog every day. And he will still, after he does his walk, he will still go and clean up a bit. And I think that is where the real sustainability of this whole approach comes, is the fact that we need to build this into everyone's habits. And I would encourage other people, trying to start off like this, to kind of approach it in that sense. Because like Lahiru rightly said, organizing cleanups is very tough. Just through our page, our experience, there are so many people that want to do a cleanup, and that's because they all have their own small agendas to attach to it. And that's fine, because at the end of the day, we need to understand that there's always ulterior motives, and we just need to figure out how we use those motives to still get the main priority done. But at the same time, it is important for us to understand how can we expand this cause. Sudarsha said, not many people are interested in marine conservation per se. However, what we can do is we can give them other incentives to want to be interested in something like this, right? So one campaign we were looking to launch at Vella Beach was to run a campaign with with either Huawei or me, to have these fitness trackers and encourage people to come to the beach and work out every day. And on a monthly basis, we would give whoever does the most amount of working out and cleanup a free unit, right? And if you look at it in this way, this is a win-win for all sides because one, you're going to be encouraging lots of people to come to the beach and work out. Two, the brands are going to get really good CSR drive. So the people we spoke with. So initially, our first strategy was we partnered with the Global Towers Hotel, which is right opposite Wellavata Beach, and we said everyone who comes in the morning and cleans up is entitled to a free breakfast, and the hotel was gladly willing to sponsor that, right? So now think of that. We were able to benefit a brand, we were able to benefit the beach, and we were also able to give opportunity to the people to also do something worthwhile for themselves. It's a great initiative. And in that sense, there it's just a case of we need to rethink how we tackle these issues because at the end of the day, brands are spending lots of money, even today, even during a pandemic, just to get their brand visible. It's just a case of understanding how do you make your cause trendy enough that a brand would want to come and support it. And then thereafter, how do you expand and scale on that reach? So to my answer to anyone, the local heroes, the guys who have just started out and who want to expand it, is think on the lines of how do you make it trend? Because I mean, if you see our social media today, the things that are trending are just ridiculous. And it's just a matter of finding a way of doing that, and then you're able to get crazy reach. And you will find a lot more people who would never be interested in cleaning the beach, wanting to come and clean the beach, because there is an ulterior motive that they are looking also to fulfill. So yeah, I really hope. If you go onto our YouTube page, you will see that we've laid out all these things in videos, kind of helping, encouraging people on how to start this up. Our model, the entire model from day one to today is kind of documented, and we really hope that people can go over there, have a look at it, and get an idea of how they can start it up. Unfortunately, the content we create is all in English, so we're speaking to a very niche market. However, we are speaking to a lot of the brands who want to get involved. So we're making that gap, but I feel that the real importance comes in when people do this content in Sinhalese and Tamil. So we spoke with Travel with Wife. They were going to do it's Panadura Beach. Now imagine someone with such a huge following. When they start something like this, you're able to tap into a massive market, a market that none of these other organized, even MIPA would not be able to talk to the consumers that social media influencers are talking to. And you're able to structure it in a very different way as well as getting funding. So I would really encourage that, I think firstly, all social media influencers should make it a part, not just marine conservation, but should make it a part, just like any company has a CSR drive, every social media influencers should have a CSR aspect to the work they do. That way they partner on some cause that they do. And then from that, we should find other ways to kind of expand the reach of all these causes.
Thank you, Shehan. And as you said, we need more trendsetters for marine conservation, and not only marine conservation, all the conservation to keep this momentum going. And I would like to talk about the Earth Lanka's ambitious project lineup. Sudarsha, I know that Earth Lanka has some projects lined up. So, what significant projects can we expect during next couple of years, maybe?
I think one of the key things we started is launched this XC2 Coral Nursery in Hambantota with it's a public-private partnership as well because the Department of Wildlife and the MIPA is also involved and the Shangri-La Resort is also involved because the key thing is that the project is because we have seen this lot of fishermen when they it's also this area is also very traditional fishermen takes place and also we have seen a lot of people using fishing boats and bringing fish to the land. So when it we have seen in this when we check those fishing nets we see a lot of corals being collected. So what we did was we started this XT2 nursery because we thought to grow them again in and we thought and take them to the environment. So that's how this concept started. And we had launched the first phase, and now we are in the process of like taking it to the next phase, like we expanding the nursery. I think one of the panelists was here. Maybe he was talking about the full project. I think that can be one of the key umbrella projects that we have been running. We will be running for another 2-3 years because this is also one of the key research done by our side. because we saw an XC2 nursery which we have never seen coming up with a public-private partnership in Sri Lanka, and this is the first one. So it's also going with a lot of scientific methodology. So I think this can be the key project from our side, and also we presented our first. We developed the full curriculum, and we presented this year, as I remember, on the World Wildlife Day. I think on no, World Earth Day. World Earth Day, we have this symposium, and we presented our river, the first phase of it, and now the MIPA also wants to develop it further to include the national curriculum. So maybe these can be the key led project for the next few years from our side on the marine conservation.
Thank you, Sudarsha. And when it comes to beach cleanup projects, Lahiru, what is your advice for youth groups who wants to conduct beach cleanup project? And maybe you can share some helpful tips for the starters.
Okay, I will make it short, Minuka. What I would like to tell to the youth actually, yeah, that is, so when you're planning something, my advice is don't plan for huge events first, because even if you're having few friends, maybe three, four guys, start with that. So then you will learn. So what's the styles or what's the cost of a cleanup? So then you will realize it's not a big deal, because what it matters is so I that's true, because I told that in some of our cleanups there were more than 450 people. So that's one aspect, because if you want to cover few kilometers within few hours, so you will need manpower. So that's one. But similarly, let's say if you are covering your local area, and if you are covering your maybe 100 to 200 meters, so maybe three, four guys you can start. So then you can make a trend, and you can build up the momentum. So never plan for huge programs. And what I have seen is some youngsters, so they are having huge plans, and because first thing they do is sometimes they are printing a T-shirt, then they are printing a banner. So no point of printing T-shirts and printing banners if you don't have people, and if you are just going for one hour or 2 hours of a cleanup. So you can just wear your own clothing. So no point of having branding if you are really coming for a purpose, true purpose. So then you should go and do the cleanup. So the rest of the items, rest of the branding, that will follow. So that's what I want to, as my advice.
Yeah.
Always keep the purpose first, and the secondary objectives. So those will follow. So the purpose first, and never plan for huge programs first. Start small. So that's my advice.
Uh, thank you very much, Lahiru. I think Shalanka, how would you think the students can be more involved in doing research-based initiatives? So, any challenges you see during ocean cleanups, or maybe any other initiatives?
Yeah, well, Milka, our student involvement is actually at a very high level. However, we did face certain challenges on our journey. The activities we are conducting, especially article writing and things like these are aimed not at not only sharing knowledge but also improving their English skills, because you know that their research skills, most of our members showed a huge progress in less than a year. Another focus is to improve their abilities in public speech. So further, we wanted to give them a good practical experience and make sure they get a good exposure. In addition, personal development, capacity building were also some of our objectives for our members. Uh, Another thing is that when we take university students, we all come from different backgrounds. So we were able to use this diversity to our advantage. Our final outcome from all these will be to make sure this university produces well-equipped graduates to the marine science sector, to the field. So due to these measures and objectives, we do have a lot of students actively involved in our club.
Thank you, Shalanka. That's very great to hear. And we'd like to take some audience questions. And I think what sort of a remedies and solution can we share to keep these urban areas clean and also sustain? I think this is an open question, so anyone can answer. Basically, sustaining and cleaning our urban areas. Shehaan, would you like to at some point?
Sure. I think the sustainable approach, in my opinion, is that we encourage people to do it for themselves, rather than trying to continuously get them to get involved with these causes. So, um, recently, I think about 4 or 5 months back, I shared a stat of mine, just my work on the beach. I had worked out something like I had run 300 or 400 kilometers in the last year, in that year, and then I had listened to 12 audiobooks as well as picked up some 160 kilos of trash. That's all me doing it one hour a day, just building a routine, right? And the idea is that for it to be sustainable, we need to educate and aware our community to build it into their routines. Otherwise, it's never going to be sustainable. As long as the cause is trending, we'll have some people get involved for that time, and then thereafter they fall off. My thinking is that we need to get people, involved in that sense. And the other thing I would also say is that you need to have people from different stakeholder groups getting involved. So, for instance, you will notice that people who are involved in marine conservation and things like that are speaking to a very small niche of the actual population of our country. But we need more female involvement. We need more people from the mass market getting involved. Celebrities should be getting involved in these things, and we should be talking about these in every aspect, encouraging people to build it in. So not just about cleaning a beach. I mean, if you are living by the side of a park, there is no reason why we can't incentivize. One brand should be able to incentivize people to go out there and do something good for yourself, primarily around your health, and then thereafter clean up. Just with ItsWellaBeach, I can only talk on that because that's what I've been working on. The past year, I have learned that if I was to go every day and clean up, within 5 days, no matter how polluted the beach is, I could clean up that entire stretch just myself. And it just goes to show that, rather than trying to do, like Lahiru said, rather than trying to do these large events that will clean the beach up once and then within 3 or 4 days the beach is dirty again. If we are able to build a society that goes out and cleans up daily for whatever reason, they can be motivated by being given extra credit, given free data. It can be, there's so many different ways of incentivizing people to go out and do this sort of thing. And if we do it in that way, then it's going to be sustainable. And again, I'd like to, talk clearly on the term of the fact that we need involvement from all stakeholders. Right now, it's just a few people who are involved, but each stakeholder talks to a different group, and for that very reason, it is very important that there are stakeholders from right around talking to each of these groups. So, like, there are university people, there are a few corporates involved, but there are so many more that need to be involved to kind of really push this into a mass market. And the idea for it to be sustainable, I would say, is that we have to make it a long-term habit that we build into each of ourselves first, before trying to, make these huge causes and organizations to kind of do these things for us.
Thank you, Shehaan. Thank you very much for your input. And I think with that, it is time to conclude the session. And I would like to thank our exclusive patron, the EU delegation Sri Lanka, summit patron Dilma Conservation and Keys, and supporting patron Plastic Cycle. I really hope that you enjoyed and was inspired by these youth-led conservation organizations, and I hope that all of you will support the work that they carry out. So do stay tuned in on this broadcast where After a few video clips, we will be going into the closing ceremony of the summit, and we will be announcing the winners of the World Ocean Day through art competition during the closing ceremony. We'd like to mention that we have received some amazing arts, and stay tuned to see who has won the competition. So thank you, Sudarsha, Shehaan, Lahiru, and Shalanka for joining in today's session. We will be now moving into a few clips and we will be back right after. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did you ever wonder about the consequences of your consumption habits? The more you have, the happier you will be, is the message we are constantly told. However, our current unsustainable make, use, waste model is causing a severe impact on both people and the environment. The recent economic growth in Asia has lifted many countries out of poverty, but it has also created a large number of new consumers, with plastics having made their way to nearly every aspect of our lives. Global plastic use has increased 20 times as much in the past 50 years and is expected to double in the next 20 years. Worldwide, we are already producing about 300 million tons of plastic waste every year. Even if citizens in developed economies are using about 20 times more plastics per person than in Asian developing countries, in Asia, plastics have become a major concern, threatening the safety and quality of our health and food, negatively impacting our ecosystems and contributing to climate change. It is time to change. We should do our best to eliminate the use of plastics, especially single-use plastics. In a new circular economy, plastics waste can be used to produce new goods. In this way, we limit the quantity of plastics that is being generated. Governments should take strong action, promoting higher standards and innovative and available alternatives to plastics. Businesses must innovate and design plastics that can be safely reused, recycled, remanufactured, or composted. Consumers must circulate all the plastic items they use and keep them in the economy and out of the environment. The European Commission launched in 2018 its European Strategy for Plastics in a Circular Economy, a directive on single-use of plastics in 2019, and its new Circular Economy Action Plan in 2020 as part of its commitments within the EU Green Deal. The EU is also supporting the participation of its partner countries around the world to the Global Agreement on Plastics. Waste and plastics are two building blocks to push forward the transition towards a green economy. Since 2007, the Switch Asia program has implemented several grant projects promoting responsible supply chains and business practices, contributing to waste management and plastics in South Asia, Southeast Asia, and East Asia. The program is also providing policy support to Pakistan and Maldives on waste and plastics management, and to Lao PDR on minimizing, reducing, and preventing single-use plastics. These issues are universal and they touch every person on the planet. Play your part. Rethink, reduce, reuse, recycle. Each one of us can make a difference. It is our common and shared responsibility.
In 2019, Kiehl's pledged to reduce 50% of its single-use polythene usage in stores by 2025. So far, on a monthly basis, we inspired 38,000 shoppers to switch to reusable bags and around 108 shoppers to bring their own containers for shopping. We replaced 132,000 plastic straws with paper straws while continuing to look for a sustainable solution for juice cups. Our top crust bread bags were replaced with compostable bags, reducing over 20,000 single-use polythene bags a day. Our fish, meat, fruit and vegetable counters also switched to compostable bags. That's not all. We continued to build awareness among our staff on the importance of reducing polythene usage and walk the journey towards reducing our impact on the environment, because together we can.
මෙය ඔවුන්ගේ අනාගතයේ කොටසක් වන්නට ඉඩ නොදෙන්න. ඔබ මුහුදු වෙරළට යන සෑම අවස්ථාවකම වෙරළ පිරිසිදු කිරීමට පුංචි මිනිත්තුවක් වැය කරන්න. ප්ලාස්ටික් සයිකල් වෙතින් පණිවිඩයක්.
Conserving blue carbon ecosystems like seagrass, mangroves and marshlands is important because they store 3 times more carbon than forest and land ecosystems. They also provide jobs and income to local economies, improve water quality, support healthy fisheries and provide coastal protection. However, it is estimated that half of the global mangrove cover has disappeared in the last 40 years. Did you know Sri Lanka was designated as the global mangrove champion under the Commonwealth Blue Charter? Over the next decade, Dilma Conservation will commit to restore and conserve over 24 acres of degraded mangrove forest in Sri Lanka. We are collaborating with governmental organizations, local communities, educational institutes, and other corporates. We aim to create a replicable model which will restore mangrove and shallow marine ecosystems with socio-economic development by the year 2030. Mangroves are a unique ecosystem, a special ecosystem, and a vulnerable ecosystem. But we can protect the mangroves together.
Biodiversity is critical for the well-being of our planet and all of its inhabitants. Our oceans are teeming with life, and our forests give refuge to many of the world's most unique species. These ecosystems form part of a closed water cycle, linking mountaintops to the seafloor. Ocean and forest ecosystems clean the air we breathe, provide food and medicine, and shield us from natural disasters. They are important sinks of carbon and help mitigate the impacts of climate change. However, our ocean and forest ecosystems are under threat from human activity and are being lost at an alarming rate. The European Union is supporting the Colibri project implemented by ACTED, Blue Resources Trust, Environment Foundation Limited, and the Green Movement of Sri Lanka. In line with the EU's biodiversity strategy, and the European Green Deal, as well as ACTED's 000 vision of a world of zero exclusion, zero carbon, and zero poverty, Kolibri aims to protect and restore Sri Lanka's rich biodiversity by promoting a more harmonious balance between human activity and the environment at sea and on land. Kolibri strengthens Sri Lanka's environmental protection efforts by encouraging community-led monitoring to minimize illegal and harmful activities while creating economic incentives for more sustainable fisheries and agricultural practices in 3 protected areas. To safeguard our oceans, Kolibri is working in the Bar Reef Marine Sanctuary, located off Kalpitiya in the northwest, and in Kayankarani Marine Sanctuary near Pasikuda on the east coast, both of which are home to coral and sandstone reefs and seagrass habitats. To protect our forests, Kolibri is working in the Knuckles Conservation Forest home to over a third of Sri Lanka's endemic trees, shrubs, and herbs. The project encourages government agencies and local communities to collaboratively manage resources and make science-based decisions. This inclusive approach will help protect biodiversity in our ocean and forest ecosystems and improve the well-being of all the people who depend on them.
Blue Resources Trust is a Sri Lankan NGO. We started work in 2016. Primary areas of focus are coral reef conservation and elasmobranch fisheries. We also help the government with policy work and MPA management. So since we started our fisheries project, we have surveyed nearly 20 harbours and landing sites all across the country. What we've done for the last 3 years is focus more on data collection from the lesser known and smaller landing sites because very little to no data exists from these sites. When we go to the fish market, we take photos to know what species are being landed. We take measurements of those specimens that are landed. We also take DNA samples from the specimens at the fish markets. Since August of 2017, we've documented 13,000 specimens consisting of 40 species of rays and 43 species of sharks. From these specimens, we have collected over 3,000 DNA samples. The reason we study sharks and rays is because these animals are very vulnerable to overfishing. Unlike other fish, their life cycle and life histories resemble land animals like elephants and leopards more than fish like tuna. Most sharks and rays live for a long time. They have very few young. They reproduce only once every few years. All of this makes them very vulnerable to overfishing. There are many different fishing methods used in Sri Lanka depending on the size of the boat and the weather. While there are a few targeted shark and ray fisheries, most of them are bycatch in the long line and the gillnet fisheries of Sri Lanka. Although shark and ray meat is consumed in Sri Lanka, it's not very valuable. The biggest value from the shark and ray fishery comes from the export of the shark fins and the gill plates of mobulas. These species are apex predators and protecting them is vital to maintaining a healthy ecosystem. In the end, all fisheries rely on a healthy ecosystem in the ocean.
The ocean. Our island is surrounded by it. We live in the midst of it. Mesmerizing, enthralling, pleasing. Our ocean is unique, a vibrant marine habitat. We have loyal whales who never leave our seas, turtles who always return to our shorelines, mangroves sequestering carbon, dugongs gliding beneath the waves, seagrass meadows pumping oxygen we breathe, underwater reefs sheltering marine life. But they're struggling. Coral reefs bleached, our seabeds scraped over by foreign fishing trawlers. We're depleting our marine life through overfishing. Plastic and chemical waste pollution gush into our oceans. Coastal sand is disappearing. Marine animals killed by dynamite. Turtles entangling in goose nets. Ships colliding with whales. Climate change. Global warming. Oil spills. Coastal construction. Ocean acidification. Ocean's life is draining. We need the ocean. Our survival depends on it. The sea around us is now a hotspot for geopolitics, trade, security, maritime ventures, and crime. Our impact on the ocean matters. Our ocean is our lungs, our hearts, our nerves. Without it, no one can survive. We can only thrive if our oceans survive. Let's strive to be the guardians of the ocean. Let us be the protectors, together, for our ocean.
Hi everyone, good evening, and I wish you a very happy World Oceans Day. I'm Moderator. I'm the coordinator of the Pearl Protectors. So, we have come to the final leg of the World Oceans Day Summit. It has been an amazing journey. I don't have words to explain how glad I am that we have been able to successfully conclude the summit. So of course, I know a lot of the audience now are waiting, anticipating something very important. We have also parallelly been conducting the World Oceans Day through art competition and exhibition. We were supported by Blue Resource Trust, Tilma Conservation, and World Ocean Day organization. And so we spent enormous time. We got enormous submissions, and thanks to our team, we were able to shortlist. We were able to select the winners, and the judges were of real support for us. So, without any delay, I want to move on. I want to first of all invite two of our members, team members, Praveen Bandara and Minuka Hagarapitiyaarachchi. Hi, Praveen. Hi, Minuka.
Hi.
Hi, Moderator.
Hi.
So we are at the end, and we have finally done it. So we've had challenges, but we pulled it off. I think it's been an amazing journey. For months, we have been preparing for this, and we have successfully concluded one of the two largest events in Sri Lanka. One was the World Oceans Day Art Competition, which we got about 1,000 submissions, over 1,000 submissions, and we have also conducted the World Oceans Day Summit with 4 days, 44 experts, and we had 15 moderators and also 19 sessions. So we were able to cover almost all aspects related to the ocean. So before we announce the winners, I want to sort of share our journey on how we got here. So I want to invite maybe Praveen, maybe if you can share how this started, like, especially the World Oceans Day through art. We did it last year, but can you maybe elaborate a little bit on that?
Thank you, Mudita. Yes, we did want to do an art competition because it got inspired a lot of people look into related topics. It got to school students and children to think about the ocean and get involved with it. And last year we had a tremendous amount of artwork come in as well. So we thought this year it has to be done. The question was on what topic. So we did look at two themes. I think we will get to that later. But that was the basis of it. We wanted more an opportunity to give an opportunity to more people to get involved in the World Ocean Day, not just to look at the summit, but participate in some way to give inspiration to others through their art.
Thanks. Can I also ask you, Praveen, what was the process? This was not something we started a few days ago or a few weeks ago. So maybe if you can, share that process.
Yes. So first of all, we did once we actually came up with the two themes, we had to categorize into two age categories. One for the open session above 19 and one to a school session. And then with that, we had to start promoting the event, which took a couple of good weeks, and then a lot of promotion online. We did have issues due to the pandemic, not being able to promote through the traditional newspapers. But eventually we did get quite a bit of, once the promotions went out, we started getting emails. We had to then download the images and then process them and categorize them according to each section, and then start evaluating which ones were suitable to go into the exhibition competition. I think, are we getting to that later on, Mudita, with the?
We can, of course, but I think it's good to have this this process of how we did, and So I think go ahead.
So once we started, one of the things we did was to evaluate all the artwork. So we had to we got over 1,000 entries. Out of that, we had to make sure that they all met the qualifying criteria. So there were some that we had to evaluate according to the information they gave, out of which we got a total of 700 qualifying artworks that came through. After that, we had to categorize each of them and then proceed on to shortlisting 110, nearly 220 from both categories for the judges to mark. After that, the judges gave us their marks according to 5 of the main criteria that Minuka will describe later, I think.
So
out of that, the total marks, the cumulative marks for each, all the artworks, gave us the top 3 for each age category, and then 15 others for both categories as well. In total, we have 36 winners.
Yep. So those will be announced in a while. Minuka, I want to ask you now, the latter part, once we got the submissions, so we started getting huge amounts of submissions. Our emails were overloaded. This was happening while the summit was going on. So take us through this journey on how this happened and what was the strategies used to really filter and screen these images. Wait, hold on. I think you're on mute. Go ahead.
Sorry about that, Musa. So as Praveen mentioned, basically we ran through 3 pages because it was quite challenging, but we really enjoyed doing this. So first page about getting all the artworks and checking whether they are in line with our guideline that we have provided. So secondly, as Praveen mentioned, under 19, we divided to 4 subdivisions. So age-wise 1 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15, and 16 to 18. And next, what we did was we standardized all the artworks and we assigned them an ID. So, on a parallel database, we stored their name, theme, and Instagram ID and all that. Why we wanted to do this is when we are checking and evaluating art, we are only looking at the art. We are not seeing any school name or anything as such. We are looking at the art and making the decision purely based on the art. So when shortlisting, we had to shortlist around to 100 arts from each category. So we looked at 5 criteria: interpretation of the theme, creativity, originality, artistic skill, this we consider the age, use of details, the overall effect on the artwork, and how impactful considering the theme. So a team of 20 volunteers from the Pearl Protectors contributed their time. We worked day and night and to filter out 220 odd arts, because initially we planned to trim it down to 200 artwork, but we simply couldn't do it because there was so much beautiful, amazing art. So we ended up with 220 odd arts. Then the final page, we handed over all the qualified shortlisted art to our expert judge board for the final decision. And I would like to mention Mr. Prasanna Veerakodi, prominent historian, artist, and marine biologist. Mr. Avant Adigala, who is a well-known artist who contributes towards publication in Sri Lanka. And Ms. Rena Ortega, who is globally renowned for her ocean-based arts. And finally, Mr. Kasun Pradeep, who is a prominent conservation designer in Sri Lanka. So their decision was the final decision, and they have selected top 3 winners from each category and 15 other winners. So we have overall, as Praveen mentioned, 36 winners, and just the result is with us at the moment. So we can announce it. And also, I would like to mention, Mudita, even though we had to disqualify several artworks from the competition, we will exhibit all the artworks that we have received, and the team is working on it as we speak. So we might be able to showcase it very soon.
Yeah. So yeah, that's important because all these artwork submitted to us, the qualifying ones, will be displayed as an exhibition online. So it will remain there forever, and so all the artists can really, go see them anytime they want and be inspired about the beauty. Basically, seeing them as something as a memory, even after 10 years, to go back and see that in 2021, the World Oceans Day, I drew this. So we want that to be the memory for all the artists who submitted. I want to thank all of them. And I think I want to also mention the prizes here, because something that you all may not have noticed is that we have never said which prizes you're going to get. This is because we wanted to motivate you, not based on the prices, but based on the contributions that you can make, bring out your skills and the passion towards the ocean. So now I can safely announce like which prizes you will be getting. We have for all 36 winners, there will be a certificate that will be provided, a winner certificate. Apart from that, there will be a valuable memento that you will all receive, including a hamper of all kinds of plastic reuse alternative items and publications from Dilba Conservation, and also the EU delegation has also agreed that there will be prizes coming in from their end as well. You will also receive a voucher. So these are for the top 3 winners of each category. But for the remaining 30, you will all receive a certificate, including a valuable prize. So the way we are going to delegate that is by after the lockdown is lifted, we will be contacting you, and we will be getting your details, and we will be sending it across to you. So I think this is the time for the announcements. So I want to start off with, maybe we can announce the top 30 winners first. Yes, and we can start off with the open category. No, sorry, the school category, I think, right? School category. And then Praveen, would you like to do the honors of announcing the top 15 of the school category?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you, Moderator.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'd like to mention that we had a lot of school entrance, school students sending their artwork, especially since they're at home. I think they got really engaged with the competition. It was very difficult for us and the judges to select these, but we had to shortlist these 15. I will show you the artworks. This is in no order, but the top 15. This is Saviru Surinder. Next we have Ryan Salik, Wasandi Vidana Patirana, Dasanga Kulatunga, Sanuga Pereira, Sanaya Lianagama, Danut Aberatna, Tulanya Gunasekara, Sesat Silva, Thanuli Kannanga, Tirtha Veeraratna, Praneeth Nagaraja, Sadev Nimsara, Safia Nias, and Sinali Senadira. Moderator, these are the top
Thank you.
15.
Top 15 of the school category. So congratulations on all the top 15 winners of the school category. It was, like Praveen said, it was a very rigorous, it was very hard to make those decisions. We had a lot of amazing artwork, but not to worry, all your submissions, if your artwork is not in this, your either it is on the top 3 or it will be in the exhibition. With all your details. Now, I would like to invite Minuka to name the top 15 winners of the open category. You can keep a little bit of a pause in between, and then you can.
Yes. So starting from Anodi Malsirini, and we have Dan Van Bommel, Pavitra Ratnayaka, and we have Ginushmal Vikumjit, and Shanuka Dushanta, Mahesh Akalanka, Hasini Bandaranayaka, MD Kaushalya, Natalie Gunatilaka, Navodya Ekanayaka, Nayoma Aberatna, Nimsis Jayavira, Patung Sudarshana, Samantha Nugegoda, and Varuni Gallel.
Amazing. Those were amazing. Thank you, Minuka. So it is now time to share the top 3 winners of the school category. Okay, the presentation is being prepared right now. Okay, and I would like to invite Praveen to name the 3rd place winner.
Sorry. 1 second. Oh, technical.
That's all right. That's okay. Are you ready?
No, 1 second. Right, 3rd place.
3rd place.
We have Ravindri Jayatilaka.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Alosha Samarachi. And our 1st place goes to Mohammad Rizwan Fatima Hashma.
Wow, amazing! That's really amazing. So Praveen, this was the open category. Am I right? Yes. Right. Yes.
No.
This was the open.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. This is the open category. So I think next we can go to the school category. So congratulations, all 3 winners. We will be contacting you soon to share, get your information and to see how the prices can be sent to you. That will be happening after the lockdown, the COVID lockdown is lifted. So thank you, Praveen, for sharing these 3 winners and announcing these 3 winners. Now I'd like to invite Minuka, maybe. Minuka, could you have the winners of the school category from 3rd place? Okay, let's see. Give me a second.
Just you can move it up.
Oh, Praveen, do you want to announce it?
Yeah, sorry. I think we might have to redo the images because the images shared were the open category images and the names of the. So yeah, there is no mix up there. Technical error on this part.
So
can we announce the images again?
Yeah. I will. So I'll open up the.
No, that's okay.
Category.
Okay,
yes.
This is the open category. This is the open category, right?
This is
okay, sorry.
Category, yes.
Yeah, so, you can read the names again.
Minuka, please.
Yes, so 3rd place goes to Tilati Tarukshika. 2nd place goes to Shachindra Karunarachi. And 1st place goes to Rohan Lasanta. This is the open category.
Wow, yeah. Congratulations, Rohan. Congratulations. You have done amazing work. This is, I think, by far all the judges had, this is a unanimous decision on this. So this actually shows how the marine environment is suffering because of ocean pollution. And this is something we can't see because many of us, though we live in island, though the ocean is around us, we haven't been under the sea. And if you have to go under the sea, this is what can be seen. The immense amounts of pollution, that single-use plastics to chemicals to everything that is just ending up in the ocean. So this is a great depiction of that. So without further ado, I would like to invite Praveen to announce the school category.
Yes, the school category.
Yes,
Sorry about the confusion previously. I need to
that's all right.
apologize. But
That's all
yes,
right.
now
So
we are ready.
let me. Okay, you're ready. Okay. So the third place of the school category is
Ravindi Jayatilaka. And second place goes to Alosha Samarachi. And the first place goes to Muhammad Rizwan Fatima Hasmat. This is more along the lines of ocean pollution, and she has very well depicted what Sri Lanka is facing these days. And we had to congratulate all three, actually every contestant who shared the images, but specifically her for getting the first prize. Moderator?
yes. I'm just awestruck seeing that image. These were some. I mean, this has so much symbolism in it. You can see the detail of all the pollution that has been drawn in, and along with the ship, the MV Express Pearl, the oil spill, and just our mother just weeping along with it. So it has a lot of symbolism. This is a great artwork, and I also congratulate Rizwan on this. So. Congratulations, all of the winners. We will be in touch with you. We will be also giving a call within the day, and then all of the competitors, all of the participants of the art competition and the exhibition will see their artwork on the website on pearlprotectors.org after 2 or 3 days. We are still kind of processing all the art, and then you will see it soon. We will be also sending an email confirmation to all of the submitters, informing this as well. Thank you, Minuka. Thank you, Praveen.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you
I
very
want
much.
to now invite Mr. Thorsten Barkfrieding. So if you can share your thoughts and maybe give a conclusion note on this historic event.
Hello, hi.
Hi, Thorsten.
Yes, that was quite an event. Congratulations, Pearl Protectors. I mean, 19 panels in 4 days. That was really, really impressive for a small non-for-profit organization. I have to say, respect. That was really well done. I was able to okay. I was able to manage to watch a few of them, and was quite impressed, I have to say. Just to see how much knowledge is out there, how many clever people work on the ocean and were able to share their experience from extinct species. I learned that sperm whales in Sri Lanka don't communicate the same way than the sperm whales in Madagascar. See, that was a fact that was surprising to me. But beyond the sheer knowledge, it was also good to see there was such a variety of people. There were people from the various government agencies, from academia, from civil society. There were young activists, there were old activists. I think that was a real good sort of showcase of who is out there in Sri Lanka and who cares about the ocean. And beyond the knowledge, there was also a lot of engagement I could see. There was a lot of passion out there. So that's a good stepping stone for the future, I think. It's a good base to see, okay, where do we go from now? How could all of us, I mean, in particular within Sri Lanka, work together to keep the ocean on the agenda and to make some things happen for the better. I mean, I can just say from the European Union side, the ocean will remain something that we will closely work on. I mean, just to start with, we started providing some satellite images on the Express Pearl, and we hope to deploy some experts from European member states agencies to work with the government on this. But beyond the sort of immediate case there, you might have seen 1 or 2 videos in between the sessions. There's our Switch project that just started working on plastic pollution in the ocean. There is the Colibri project that works on coral reefs and biodiversity. And our future priority for our development cooperation will be what we call green recovery, but that covers very much on how to bring the economy and the environment in sync. So there's a lot to do out there, and I think this was a great showcase to simply, you know, see what's out there, where the issues are, and I'm not sure you can make this an annual event, but you might never want to do this again. It must have been so much work, but yes. So thumbs up again, and let's keep this discussion going.
Thank you, Thorsten. Thanks a lot. Thorsten Brady was the acting ambassador to the delegation of European Union at Colombo in Sri Lanka and Maldives. Thank you. And of course, this was challenging, and we are doubting if we are going to continue this next year. We learned a lot of new things out of this summit and the competition we did. Thank you, Thorsten, again. I would like to now invite Shamodi Nanakara, who is from Dilma Conservation, who really partnered with us on doing the World Oceans Day art competition. Hi, Shamodi. Welcome. If you could maybe give an ending note to our summit and the competition.
Well, what can I say, Mudita? Let me start with congratulations to you and the entire team of Pearl Protectors and the organizers of the World Oceans Day Summit 2021 Sri Lanka. It was, you guys took up a massive task, and now you have brought it to a successful finale. And us in Dilma Conservation, Dilma T, will take a moment of joy to be a part of this timely summit, I would say, as a patron member. Because when you guys, when we were having preliminary discussions on this art competition and the other elements of the summit, it was not the magnitude of the event, nor the long list of panelists there was going to be that encouraged us. Actually, it was the determination and the dedication for the cause that the organizers had, that your organization had, which consists majorly from the volunteers. So that was the point of ignite, I would say, that we decided that we want to be a part of it. And of course, Dilma, even though Dilma Tea is a product of that totally belongs to terrestrial terroir, I think it is stupid of me to say that now we can drag lines between ecosystems, because as a planet, everything, every ecosystem is connected, and every aspect, every change, every impact we do has a major influence on the change of the dynamics of the other ecosystems as well. So taking that into consideration, I really appreciate what you guys did throughout these 4 days, and also I read in somewhere, I think in FAO, that it says that 40% of the global population scattered in and around 100 kilometers from a coast, right? And then we all know that first C letter of conservation represent community. So I think taking that into consideration, this year's world theme of the World Oceans Day was oceans, life and livelihood. I think it's kind of a reminder that we need it. It is high time that we need to focus on holistic approach, taking all the elements of all the affected parties of the stakeholder network, starting from the coastal communities, and then bridging that with the other elements to biodiversity research, the blue economy and the blue carbon resources, the climate mitigation impacts of it, and I think this summit, the platform created through this summit was the highlight of the entire initiative. I also very much agree with Thorsten what he said. Just to highlight on that, this summit had 44 different people representing different stakeholder charters, starting from volunteers to individuals to government authorities, policymakers, corporates that does their bit, and working on different elements of marine conservation. So you guys bringing that together And now you are bringing up the missing elements of the element of the summit, but missing, but very crucial, bringing on point the kids, the future, the children, through representing their creativity, their interpretation of ocean habitats, their beauty and their ecosystem value through arts. Dilma Conservation anyway has been a strong advocate on using art as a tool of conservation. We have seen the impact. Every week we do this nature tune, which is a global favorite among our global customers. I think one of the our brain behind our nature tunes, Mr. Awantha Atigala, is also being a judge, one of the judges of this art competition as well. And I'm actually in awe and amazed to see the level of creativity those kids have, and the level of understanding also, the underwater too, the impacts to everything. The level of understanding is, Mudita, just simply amazing. I think as adults, what we should do is let them grow like this. To nurture them with new knowledge, to let them experience freely how they can contribute, what value that we can add to the marine ecosystem for the betterment of marine ecosystems. And I would once again thank you, all the speakers, all the organizations who joined hand with Pearl Protectors, and thank you, Pearl Protectors, for reaching us, for giving us the opportunity to partner up with y'all. And we'll see next year also what's going to happen. And this is certainly an impactful. It has been an impactful 4 days, and the art competition especially. So I would thank you all, asking you all to commit to your actions, continue the discussion for the betterment, to derive sustainable solutions for the betterment of the beautiful oceans of Sri Lanka. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Shamoli. That was amazing. And thank you so much for that inspiration that came from you. I know some of our partners couldn't make it today, but I'm sure they have their well wishes as well for the summit. But all good things come to an end. So this summit was historic. We successfully conducted the largest virtual summit in Sri Lanka. During 4 days, we looked into the aspects of our ocean. We looked at the challenges. We looked at the solutions. We delved into the importance of protecting and sustaining our oceans, while also seeing how ocean resources can be utilized sustainably. We highlighted the legal aspects, science, and the policy on how we can protect the ocean. But I hope, most of all, we were able to inspire everyone, motivate everyone to love and care for our oceans. I hope we created that spark in you to start taking action towards protecting our ocean. I would like to thank you all for being part of this journey. I thank all our partners, the Marine Environment Protection Authority. I know they've been busy during the past so many weeks because of the disaster that we are facing right now. But I'm sure that their well wishes are with us. Also, I would like to thank the Blue Resource Trust. Nishan Pereira, he was very supportive of making the questions, coming up with the themes, and so he was very helpful. I want to also thank the World Oceans Day organization. They inspired. They took our summit to the international level. So we got a lot of international audience too on this summit. Also our patrons. I want to especially thank the European Union delegation to Sri Lanka and Maldives coming on board. It was a pleasure working with Thorsten and the team there. And I know they have ambitious goals, and this is something, and they have towards protecting the ocean. So this is something we would also like to see how we can support through our volunteers. I want to thank Dilma Conservation, especially Shamodi, for really being supportive. It was just one call, and I asked Shamodi, hey, do you want to support with the art competition? And was like overwhelming yes. So it was really motivating from the start, from the beginning itself. So and one thing they said, what Shamodi said was, we don't want to come in as sponsors, we want to come in as partners, and that's exactly what they did. They supported us with knowledge and like on how to do these, especially art competitions. There is a lot of complexity challenges, but Shamodi was able to help us through those. I want to also thank Heels, especially because they were we were had helped them reduce the plastic. We had initially inspired them as well. So we wanted them to share their story of how they did it, so that story can be replicated in all our retail supermarkets, and that was a success. They have committed towards it, and I hope they will commit towards reducing plastic. And they have an ambitious goal by 2025 that they will be reducing all plastic. I want to also thank Plasticycle for supporting us. They have been constantly supporting from day one itself. And so moving on, I want to appreciate our team members, especially who took their time towards volunteering. Mind you, this was all volunteering. This was everybody committed, everybody who's at Pearl Protectors is passionate towards protecting the ocean, and we all understood that a summit like this will bring in all the experts, people, all the people who love the ocean to one place. I want to thank especially Muhammad Shanu, Maheshi Pansalava in creating an amazing video, along with Darshana Jayavardhana, and then Praveen Vijay Surya, Sri Lankan Navy, Kasun from Travel with Wife, Salin Prasad, who's a scuba diver, Akita Gunasekara, who's also a team member of ours, and Vinura Vikramaratna, who provided the videos for a very inspiring video which we made. And we wanted it to be with footages collected from Sri Lanka to show how beautiful our marine environment is. I want to thank all the judges, Prasanna Veerakodi, who is amazing. He's well known in Sri Lanka for being a marine biologist as well as a historian artist. I want to thank Avanta Artigala. I never dreamt of because I always see him on the newspapers with his signature and amazing cartoons, but being part of this competition was just amazing. I want to thank Rena Ortega. She's a well-known artist, and you can see his amazing artist on Instagram and online as well. And then Kasun Pradeepa, who is a conservation designer. So thank you. And I want to thank Praveen Bandara. I want to thank Minuka Hagarapitiyaarachchi for taking the initiative on conducting the World Oceans Day through art competition. It was a very challenging thing. I know they were also up all night trying to filter, trying to screen these, and trying to make sure that if all the art was qualified within a very short period of time. We saw the deadline was on the 4th, and we extended it to 5th, and from 5th to 8th, it was all just dedication. I also want to thank Sajid, Krishen, Shanu, Abhidarshan, Shalanka, Minuka for being in the back end of the summit. Your support was much appreciated. I also want to thank all the individuals who helped in connecting with experts and supporting in the smooth functioning of this summit. We've had many challenges. To name, I lost my phone today for overheating. So these are a few of the challenges, but we've had so many challenges and hurdles, but we were able to overcome all of them just because we were passionate towards protecting our ocean. So that passion really, really was the energy behind making sure that the summit and the competition was a success. Along with your support and help, of course, all of yours, I want to ask your help and support again. But this time it is to protect and sustain our beautiful and unique marine environment. I want to invite you to be a protector of the Pearl. I want you to create the spark. I want to create the spark within you to love and care for our ocean. With that request, I want to conclude the World Oceans Day Summit. I wish you all the very happy World Oceans Day. Thank you, and stay inspired.
The ocean. Our island is surrounded by it. We live in the midst of it. Mesmerizing. Enthralling. Pleasing. Our ocean is unique, a vibrant marine habitat. We have loyal whales who never leave our seas. Turtles who always return to our shorelines. Mangroves sequestering carbon. Dugongs gliding beneath the waves. Seagrass meadows pumping oxygen we breathe. Underwater reefs sheltering marine life. But they're struggling. Coral reefs bleached. Our seabeds scraped over by foreign fishing trawlers. We're depleting our marine life through overfishing. Plastic and chemical waste pollution gush into our oceans. Coastal sand is disappearing. Marine animals killed by dynamite. Turtles entangling in goose nets. Ships colliding with whales. Climate change. Global warming. Oil spills. Coastal construction. Ocean acidification. Ocean's life is draining. We need the ocean. Our survival depends on it. The sea around us is now a hotspot for geopolitics, trade, security, maritime ventures, and crime. Our impact on the ocean matters. Our ocean is our lungs, our hearts, our nerves. Without it, no one can survive. We can only thrive if our oceans survive. Let's strive to be the guardians of the ocean. Let us be the protectors, together, for our ocean.